So a few weeks ago on the channel, we took a look at the finances that could be an offer for Celtic in the Champions League group stage next season. So I thought we could continue that wee Euro series today. Let's face it, Celtic might not be in European competition for much longer this season, and we could take a look at the current state of UEFA competition and where Celtic and Scotland fit into that, both now and where they could in a couple of years. Yes, we are talking coefficients, baby. It's going to be an exciting one. As always with these videos, my aim is for you to be able to watch, listen and understand everything I'm talking about with a few pints in you. So let's say you've just been out, you've just come home, it's Sunday, 4 AM, something like that. You should be able to watch this video and still understand it all and have no real questions other than where the sick ball is. Let's start by chatting about Celtic's current standing in the European game. Now, Celtic are currently ranked 47th in UEFA's club rankings, sandwiched between the might of Lokomotiv Moscow and Besiktas. Club rankings are taken from the performance of a certain club over the last 5 seasons in Europe. So our current number of 33 points is taken all the way back from the 2017-2018 season. So Brendan Rodgers' second campaign all the way until the current season. Even if we bow out of Europe on Thursday, this year hasn't been completely disastrous for a team that is very much in transition. Certainly better than that shambles last year. This is a rough guide of how UEFA dishes out the points. This season, 6 points were made up from 3 Europa League group stage wins. They're 2 points apiece against Ferencvaros twice and Real Betis. UEFA doesn't actually dish out points for this current round, the Bodo Glimt tie, because it's seen as an additional playoff round. But if we do manage to do well, some people think it's impossible, I don't, and win on Thursday night in Bodo Glimt and go through, we would obviously have a chance to add more points this season. Now, just because I know you're dying to know, if we got to the Champions League group stage next season, our current coefficient total, where would it have us in terms of the seeding? Would it be pot 1, pot 2, pot 3 or pot 4? I've maybe given you a wee hint there as to where Celtic would be placed if we make it into the Champions League group stage next year. But that would kind of be the least of our worries, given that we'd have, hopefully a lot of money in the bank and a bit more credibility in Europe. Just qualifying for the Champions League group stage next season would net us 4 coefficient points before we even kick a ball. So it's good for more than just money. Right, on to the overall picture with regards to Scotland. And right away, it's worth remembering that it's the overall performance of all of the Scottish sides that determines things like how many teams we get in the Champions League group stage next season. Celtic can't do it on their own. Now, UEFA national coefficients are relatively easy to calculate. They're the total number of club points divided by the number of teams that played in Europe that season. So, for example, this year, it will be our points plus Rangers points plus Hibs plus Aberdeen plus St Johnstone divided by 5, which is the number of teams that played in Europe. Once again, this is calculated over the past 5 seasons, although there is a 1-year lag in these national coefficients. So this season's results won't actually be seen until the season after next. Hopefully that makes some sort of sense. Now, Scotland finished last season 11th in the coefficient rankings. That means that next season, the league winners will almost certainly have a spot in the Champions League group stage, while second place will enter the Champions League qualifiers too. Added to this, the cup winner or the third place team in the Premiership, depending on how that goes, will also be guaranteed group stage football, either in the Europa League or the Conference League. So the big headline here, if for some reason you care about the rest of Scottish football, is that a non-Glasgow side will play European group stage football next season, and your money would be on Hearts at the moment. There are also European places for 4th and 5th in the Premiership next season too. And things are going to stay this way and possibly even get better over the next few years. Scotland is now basically seeing the rewards of some pretty poor seasons about 5 years ago, dropping off the far end of UEFA's conveyor belt. You know, the kind of time when certain teams were losing to teams from Luxembourg and all that kind of stuff. As things stand right now, Scotland are actually 9th in UEFA's rankings, and we could go as high as 8th in the coming years. That's probably the glass ceiling, because once you get beyond that, you're looking at like the major leagues of Europe ahead of you. But it just shows where Scotland have come from and how consistent our club's performances have been. For me, it seems pretty likely that the winners of the Premiership will qualify automatically for the Champions League group stage in at least the next 3 seasons, which, is pretty major, potentially longer as well. And with the money that is on offer for making it to the Champions League group stage, check that video above, winning the league this year could be absolutely monumental. And that could be expedited, really fancy word, in the coming years as well, because you may have heard about this, UEFA competition is changing pretty soon too. In UEFA's next cycle, the Champions League will see its biggest change in over 3 decades. From season 2024-2025, so not next season, not the season after, but the one after that, the 32-team group stage in the Champions League will be no more. It will be replaced by a new single league of 36 teams, with each side playing 10 matches, 5 at home, 5 away, against varying levels of team. It's what they're calling a Swiss system. It's got certainly plenty of detractors who feel that the current system isn't broken, so why try and change it? But from a selfish Celtic point of view, it's pretty cool. We would have 10 guaranteed Champions League games, should we make it there, rather than the current 6. So 4 extra matches, 2 extra games at home that Celtic could sell tickets for, more TV money, more enticement for new signings as well, offering them 4 extra games could be pretty big. It could be absolutely massive for Celtic. Worth saying as well that the Europa League and the Conference League will also change their format. Their group stages will go. Poor old Conference League has only had 1 season so far and they're already looking at changing it. But they will also adopt this new one single league with teams playing various matches. My conclusion here to this very numbers heavy video is that Celtic aren't in a brilliant place right now with regards to standing in the European game. We haven't really met the standards that the fans would have hoped for over the last dozen years or so, with the odd exception, Neil Lennon's season. In fact, a couple of Neil Lennon seasons, the one when we made the last 16 of the Champions League, and also the one a couple of years ago when we beat Lazio home and away and topped our Europa League group. Those were really good seasons, but they've kind of been the exception rather than the norm with regards to Celtic recently in Europe. But there is a huge opportunity that has fallen on our lap. This year's league winner will almost certainly enter the group stage of the Champions League next season. That will bring in a hell of a lot of money, and that could in turn bring about more success, which brings about more money, which brings about more success, which brings about... You get the picture. It's what they call a virtuous circle. It's basically the polar opposite of a vicious circle. So the future is bright for Celtic. There's a real opportunity there. We just need to take it. Worth remembering that second in Scotland would still get a shot at the Champions League, but it would be in the non-champions route. And as we found out this season, that's a pretty hard road to go down. Now, in my finances video that I did a couple of weeks ago, I worked out that the Champions League group stage could net Celtic £32 million, and that's before a single ticket is sold by the club. The real figure is likely to be above 40 million. Now, imagine the position £40 million would leave Celtic in going for the Premiership title next season. There would still be no guarantees, but it would give us a massive advantage over the opposition, and the chance to net another £40 million the following year, and again after that. You see where this is going. I realise I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here. We're only 3 points clear at the top of the Premiership. For what it's worth, and I said this on the channel yesterday, I think it's still really nip and tuck this season with regards to who wins the Premiership. There really isn't much margin for error. But I just wanted to let you know over the last couple of minutes about how much of an opportunity there is there for Celtic. Win the league this season, and I think it could genuinely see the club leave the rest of Scottish football behind. I'm going to repeat that just for a bit of effect. Win the league this season and leave the rest of Scottish football behind. I think that's a genuine possibility. Just win the league this season, Celtic, eh?